Hello, 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 and welcome to By the Fifth Podcast. It's your boy Roger Trent, and you already know you could call me Tico. What's up? Listen, today I'm excited to be in the house with Nicole Wright from Nicole Wright Insurance Agency. Listen, we are going to get into some stuff today that I think will help you out a lot, and I'm not just talking about my people and property management, but I'm talking about my flies on the wall. You know who you are. You're here, you're listening to the stories, you're here for a good time. Well, today we will not disappoint you. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let me welcome to By the Fifth Podcast, the awesome Nicole Wright. Ladies and gentlemen, Nicole, hey, how are you?
Hello. How are you?
Hey, I'm wonderful. I'm so excited to have you on today.
I'm excited to be here.
Yes. And I've been wanting to get you on because, insurance is such a big part of our industry, right? Mm-hmm. And there's so many things that go on. So I got a few questions for you today. But before we even go there, tell us how you actually got into this industry.
Well, I got into the industry in the claims department. So I originated in claims, and then I was speaking with the project managers to all the agency, and he was telling me about how profitable it was being an agent. So I just went ahead and ventured that direction, and it's been success ever since.
Oh, wow. That is awesome. And it's the wRight Agency, right?
Yes, wRight Insurance Agency in Lexington, Kentucky. We have 2 locations, not very far from each other, but we're actually working on our 3rd. So we'll see what city we put that in next.
Awesome. Congratulations on that.
Yeah.
And I just love the play on words, the wRight Agency. You can't forget that.
Yes.
Now let me say that again.
I said you can't go wrong with the wRight Insurance.
That's right. Listen, I came across this story, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, there was a lady whose son was stabbed 30 times in the apartment. Okay. It was a bunch of kids who brought in another kid who was homeless who had some mental issues that they did not know about. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so this young man went down and began to stab the other roommate 30 times. Mm-hmm. Of course, he passed away right there. There was blood everywhere. It was just an awful, horrible scene. From what I understand and what I could imagine. And so the family, they later got a bill for $9,000 some odd for the cleanup of the biohazard, okay? And they said, $2,000 was covered in their renter's insurance. Now, I understand from being in property management that side of it, from a parent's side, it's like, wait, what? I have to pay for this, And so my question to you in regards to this is, how does a person, prepare for that? Like, most people wouldn't even believe that they would have to pay for that.
June 1st, 2021, tragedy inside the apartment. Police say Denny stabbed Eric Kavanaugh 30 times, killing Eric and leaving behind a bloody crime scene.
Was crime scene cleanup even on your mind?
No, for me, it was just the boy.
Teens' renter's insurance covered $2,000, the max under their policy for biohazard cleanup. These pictures show the aftermath of the cleanup itself. Carpet ripped out, cushions cut, some removed completely.
In what world should we receive a bill for this, for the cleanup of our son's blood? This wasn't something that ever even crossed our minds as we were going through the process of burying our child, that there was even going to be a cleanup fee, that there was stuff to clean up, that our minds weren't going there. We didn't want to go there. We didn't want to know what the scene of our son's murder looked like.
Yeah, and that is unfortunate, but it depends on, it's first of all, it's state specific. So whatever state you're in, you have to go by their rules and guidelines. So if you have liability insurance on your property, it should cover the majority of it. But again, it varies by company and it varies by state. So, unfortunately, as a parent, you shouldn't have to go through anything like that. But you have to make sure that you go over your coverages with your agent, even if it is renter's insurance, because it is very important to know what coverages you have.
That's good. Tell me, what is the biggest misconception when people think about insurance? Because I know you when you say renter's insurance, you feel like as a young renter especially, it's like, oh man, everything's covered. I'm good. And that's all you think about. You say, I got renter's insurance.
Yes, and that's across the board. I feel like that is the biggest misconception, is they think that everything is covered once you pay the premium, and it's not. You have to look at your policy coverages. You have to go over everything with your agent. And you will find that, the more expensive, of course, unfortunately, the more you're covered. But if you have a cheap premium, 9 times out of 10, you don't have very good coverage. So, and I always tell people, I always go over coverages with everyone to make sure that they understand and they know what's covered and what's not covered. Because, I actually was just talking about that with my little brother. Because there was a situation where something was stolen off of his girlfriend's car, and they thought they could, claim that on the insurance. And I'm like, no, you actually can't. Insurance only covers what they say covers, the covered perils on the policy. So you'll have your comprehensive and collision. So if it doesn't fall into those two categories, then it's not covered.
Oh, wow. A lot of people believe that, theft is covered.
Yes.
I've worked on properties where, things were stolen and they thought that it would automatically come out as renter's insurance. Again, they didn't check what that full policy was, but they thought it was automatically covered and, found out that it wasn't.
No, it doesn't. So let's say, for instance, you have a scenario where you have a vehicle and you have your laptop computer sitting in your front seat. Someone breaks into the vehicle, takes the laptop, and then they take off. Okay, number one, your auto insurance will cover the window because, that is a covered peril, but they will not cover the actual laptop. You will have to refer back to your renter's insurance or your homeowner's insurance policy to recover that property. But auto insurance does not cover that. So, you have to read the language in the policies and make sure that you have the right agent, because if you don't, it will cost you in the long run.
Oh, wow. So you mean to tell me that the laptop is one thing, the car is a separate thing?
Totally separate. All property, if you take a car, you shake it upside down, anything that's not attached from the manufacturer, it is not covered. Even custom wheels. People think, I paid $6,000 for custom wheels. Well, if the manufacturer did not put those wheels on that vehicle, it's not covered. They will basically reimburse you or indemnify you up until the manufacturer standards. However the car was, however you purchased the car, that's where they will indemnify you.
Oh my gosh. Like, I never knew that. Yeah. I've never had, custom wheels put on a vehicle, but if I did, I would have thought, those are covered. You know what I mean? Wow. So, all right, now back in my younger years, I used to put the big speakers in the trunk. Yes. I know you remember those days.
Yes.
And it was booming down the street, man.
Yes, that's why we're all hard of hearing.
Right. That's exactly what it is. You know what, Nicole? I've been wondering what the heck happened to me that my ears are so bad. That's it.
Right.
It was the bass in the car.
It was the bass.
Doggone. Right. Oh my gosh, Humpty Hump. That darn song messed me up. Can I sue Digital Underground?
Right. It's their fault. All the bass.
Right. All the bass.
My ear loss. My hearing loss.
Right. And I can tell you, there were some times that I parked in some sketchy places, right? Mm-hmm. But if that speaker and amp and all of that was stolen, it would have not have been covered.
No. Those are alterations that you do to your vehicle. So none of that is covered unless you specify to your agent, hey, I have this in my vehicle, I've upgraded this, I've upgraded that. They will, if you specifically add it to your policy, they will cover it. But if you're getting a basic policy from the manufacturer standards, then you will not have coverage on any type of alterations that you do to your to your vehicle.
Wow. This is showing me how important it is to communicate and ask questions, right? Like, yes. I don't think I've ever asked, enough or the right questions back when I was getting that stuff.
Right.
I'll tell you from a property management perspective, we used to have a insurance company local who would come in and they would provide free moving gifts for the residents if we referred them. Okay. And so we did. It was like, oh, they're giving us this for free. We're going to go ahead and refer them. What would you say to those managers about what they should know? I mean, you just accept because it's a free gift and you say, okay, boom, I'm going with this company. Mm-hmm. But what are the questions that managers should ask? I mean, is that always worth it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you have a good agent and they kind of give you an outline on what questions that you should ask, depending, by your state, then that's definitely the first step to do. Like we do that as well. My husband goes out and we, goes to the apartment complex, any type of community that has a huge amount of people we kind of target. So if we do go to any development like that, first of all, we ask them, do you have any expensive items in your home? If you turned your house upside down, all the property that fell out, how much do you think all of that is worth? And they'll let us know, like, okay, 10, 20,000. And I'm looking at them like, inflation is real, right? So if you have $20,000, you have to start from ground zero, buy forks and underwear and, all the necessities. And the things that you do have, like, your extra stuff, like, would that actually cover it? And they're like, oh, you're right. Let's do 30 to 40,000. You have to make sure that they're educated about that. Now we'll have some people, of course, they'll have jewelry, expensive paintings. Those items are not covered. Every policy has a limit. So they may give you $2,000 towards a computer or $2,000 towards a TV. But if you have a very expensive TV, that's not covered unless it's specifically listed on the policy. So you have to make sure that those items are listed or you'll get the bare minimum what the policy allows.
Wow. Okay, so it's good for that community, that management team to also ask these questions,
Yes.
what I mean, before referring them.
Yes.
And
I
right?
would definitely, yes, of course, like ask for an outline, like, okay, so if our customers are coming to you, how do you gain the knowledge of what they have in their place or, the coverages that they need? And depending on how they answer that question is how I would make my decision on a referral.
This podcast is being brought to you by Apartment Community Functions. If you need an event, let us know. We can handle it. After all, we evented it. Check us out on apartmentcommunityfunctions.com.
That's good. One of the things that I've noticed from being in the business is, water damage, fire, and theft are like the three big ones. You know what I mean? Depending on, the area too, whatever. But like fire because, your neighbor has got the stove on and, that sort of thing. Coming in as a a person trying to rent an apartment, and a lot of apartments these days say you have to have it. Like you cannot live there without renter's insurance, right?
Right.
And so is fire or water damage something specific that they need to ask about?
No, well, I take that back. Okay, water is a very tricky subject. Now, fire, theft, those are pretty much standard on every policy. I've never seen a policy that excluded the two. But water, if they are living at the bottom level and the water originated outside of the house and comes into the home, that's considered flood. There's no insurance company that covers flood. Flood is covered from FEMA. So you have to go to your government, and there's different writers. Like I'm a writer on the government program, so I can write a policy for that. But if water originated inside the home, then you have to have what is called a water backup policy, which is a coverage that's listed on the policy, and that would cover water. But, water is a little tricky. It's kind of like a gray area. They're like, oh, no, my apartment's flooded. Oh, yeah, it's flooded because you live in a flood zone and it flooded. So that is absolutely not covered. Even if you have water backup on your policy, you have to have flood insurance to cover dirty water from the outside coming inside. So if it originates outside, it's flood insurance. But if it originates inside, then you're definitely covered. Or if it comes from another unit. So if the water comes, if someone leaves their washer machine on and they had a pipe burst or anything like that, then that will be covered under your water backup.
Okay. Wow. So to make this clear, if this water originates from outside, it's, here in Nashville, I don't know if you remember, but in 2010, there was a big flood here.
Yeah.
And the water was gushing into, homes and apartments and businesses. I mean, it was bad, right? Mm-hmm. So something like that, you're saying, would not be covered. That would be something that would have to go through FEMA.
It would have to go through FEMA because FEMA is the only agency that covers flood insurance. It's a government program.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Insurance companies. I feel like it would be a financial burden on an insurance company to cover flood because that's something that happens often. And when it happens, it's catastrophic. So it hits it'll hit a whole community. So that's a lot for an insurance company to take on. It's very risky. But the government, of course, once you pay into that program, that's what that program is designed to, it's what it's designed for. It takes care of flood insurance. It takes care of the flood. And it doesn't matter what community it will come in. And of course, you pay the premium per year, but that's their main focus is to take care of the flood in that area.
Okay. So, but as long as it's, Jackie upstairs left the water running when she went to take her kids to school, and now Jackie's water is coming into my kitchen, then I'd be covered in that.
Yes, and of course, that's a separate coverage as well. So if you left your water running and it damaged my place, then that's your liability. You're liable for the damages that you caused to other people's property. So of course, your insurance would cover my damages because you caused the damage. Now, if it originated inside of my property, I would have to have that coverage listed on my policy. So that's a totally separate situation. Oh. That's why they want you to have renter's insurance because of that. Because let's say in this scenario, I didn't have insurance, you don't have insurance, and your water leaked into my apartment. Who I'm going to go after is the property management company. I'm going to say your tenant destroyed my property. So someone needs to do this because I cannot live in this unit. So, they have to do something about it. So to prevent their liability, and of course they have to fix their unit because it's their property. So of course they have to come out of pocket, either, out of pocket expense, or if they have to make a claim on their insurance, they're going to have to pay for it either way. So to prevent their liability insurance from skyrocketing, they spread the risk. They make all of their tenants get renter's insurance, and it helps them out tremendously.
That makes so much sense. That makes a lot of sense. This, man, I feel like I needed you there back when I was signing leases. Like having this knowledge, knowledge is everything. Once you understand the why, the reasons, the stuff behind it, it's like, oh, okay. Because people really, they get aggravated. It's like, I paid for an application fee, and then there's this, this other fee, a dog fee, and now I have to have renter's insurance. You know what I mean? And a lot of people they get frustrated with that because of, economy or whatever. But I think helping them understand the why and how that's going to benefit them is great, right? Now tell me this. I know you've been in the business for a while. What was your craziest claim?
Well, we had a claim. Oh, this was years ago. This was before I got into the agency side. I was in the claims side during this period. Well, Special Investigations, they had a claim for a lady that was severely hurt in an accident. She said she was unable to walk, unable to work, unable to move, and she wore a back brace, a neck brace. Well, investigators will follow you. They'll follow you to the grocery store. They'll sit outside your home. If they're looking for a possibility to withdraw a claim, if they feel like you're lying, they're going to go to the extent to find and prove their claim. So, they were about to give up on this case, and the investigator came into the office, and he's telling us like, okay, we're just going to have to pay this. And I think they paid her roughly like $200,000. So someone gave them a tip that her son was getting married. So they went to the wedding and she was dancing. They took pictures and videos, and she eventually had to pay the money back.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like that was
money. That money was for the son.
Yeah, that money was for because he had an extravagant wedding. I'm sure she contributed, but she had to pay the money back.
Oh my gosh!
And people have to understand. Not only did she have to pay the money back, but that goes against her because that's a fraud case. So you have to be very careful how you deal with insurance companies.
Wow. I wonder, did they bust her out at the wedding?
Oh, no. They can't do that.
Okay. That would have been hilarious.
Oh, yeah. That would be that would be very confrontational, and that's not the intent. What they wanted to do was prove that, her claim was false. Of course, she did, sustain some type of, injury, but not to the extent in which she exaggerated it to be. So,
oh, man.
Yeah.
I'd have walked up to her dancing too, singing "Sorry, Miss Jackson." Sorry, Miss Jackson, you are gonna pay us back, and you might go to jail with your fraud having self. Right. I want it by the 5th.
Yes, by the 5th.
By the 5th. Oh my gosh. Wow. I know you've seen a lot. I mean, yes. Good gracious.
We see a lot. We deal with a lot. There's a lot that goes on in the insurance world. I always tell my husband we could pretty much do a reality TV show. But of course, there's a lot of confidentiality. But yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Oh my gosh. Wow. You wouldn't think, well, I mean, I guess I can understand it, but it's like, man, people would actually do something like that.
Oh yeah. People do everything to, there's a lot, and there's a lot of fraud that goes on in the insurance world. But you would never believe some of the things that we see and hear.
Wow. Tell me this, there's a few listeners that we have who are, they have homes and they rent these homes out. What advice would you have for them in regards to insurance?
I would definitely require them to get renter's insurance as well. Like they have the same situation. They have a tenant that could possibly cause damage to their property. So in order to protect their property, of course, they have to maintain like a dwelling coverage on their property. And then in return, have the tenant cover it for the rental. So, I mean, it's the same situation as far, I mean, just, you know, with the apartments, it's just a multi-family unit, but with just a home, you definitely want to protect your investment as well.
Okay. All right. That's good information. Great information. Wow. Well, I'm just like, I feel like I've just been in class, you know, and I know you have a plethora of information, and I mean, it's really good stuff. Because like I said, you know, people feel like they are blindsided sometimes. Of course, when a tragedy such as a lady with her son who was murdered, and I've seen a couple cases like that on the internet, but, you know, something like that happens, or, you know, God forbid, a flood or a fire. I think, you know, people not knowing. And when these things happen with the emotion, the tragedy, the loss of things, you automatically are in defensive mode. But I think that if you're armed with the knowledge about what you have, what's covered, it's going to make it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
If and when that time comes.
Right.
Would you say so?
Oh, absolutely. I agree 100%.
Well, tell us, you know, for our people out there in Kentucky, how can they get in touch with you in order to get the insurance, and what all do you offer in regards to insurance? I'm sure that's a lot. But
So first, they can get in contact with us on Google, the wRight Insurance Agency. We're on New Circle Road in Lexington, Kentucky. We also have a location on Versailles Road. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, and then we have a website if it's on our Google page. And we offer we offer every single insurance policy except for health. So it's kind of like an umbrella. Auto, life, business, motorcycle, we offer it all except for health insurance. We don't offer health insurance right now.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on our podcast today. We appreciate it. Oh, absolutely. And all of your wisdom. And hopefully, you know, you won't have any more of those Miss Jacksons dancing around at the weddings. You know, here's to honest people, okay?
Yes, right. Hard to find.
Hard to find. I know it. And folks, we thank you again for watching and listening to By the Fifth. Man, make sure that you share this and like it and go and give us reviews. We need that to keep growing, right? And we're hoping that, you know, this knowledge that gets out can help not just you, but your residents as well, all right? So thanks again so much for being with us today on By the Fifth. God bless you and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
The name is Trent, Roger Trent, but you can call me Tico. What's up?